much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. News right now, trust the word, turn the volume loud. News beyond compare. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. News right now, trust the word, we share these fresh news beyond compare.
I'm working on it. Listen to the scanner for a minute while I'm trying to figure out what's causing that music to bleed through. Sorry about that.
This is person on the 48 northbound on 75, calling 5 male in dark clothing carrying bags. He's walking on the shoulder. He's on to exit 49.
Alright, finally. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize that happened. I figured out what was causing it. I hope everybody had a good Saturday. We'll try this again. We'll try this again now without the music playing in the background. I apologize for that again. I didn't realize that was bleeding through like that, but I think we got it fixed now. So again, I hope everybody had a good Saturday. We did. Not a lot going on in London, Kentucky today, but a few things happening. So we'll talk about that real quick. Kind of mainly we had some helicopters this afternoon going up and doing a search. We had some of it was Army helicopters, some of it was state helicopters. So it was a little bit of a mix of both today. Early afternoon, a little bit after lunch, we had the Army had 3 or 4 helicopters. It kind of sometimes it was 3, sometimes it was 4. They went down to down past London to Joseph Couch's hometown is where it looked like they were going. So they went down there and they not exactly sure what they were doing. They looked like they were doing a search, but it wasn't like the typical search that we've been seeing in the last few days, where they, did the typical search pattern and did. You can see them circling an area. So I don't know what exactly they were doing down there in Corbin. They were in Corbin and they were in Barberville. I'm not exactly sure. That was the Army down there. So we're not exactly sure that they weren't doing some type of drills or something too. But Corbin Woodbine is where Joseph Couch was actually from.
Okay.
So that was a little strange that they did go down there. And right now we got the Kentucky game going on in Lexington with playing Georgia. And as big a
11:34 safe check.
As big a news as that is, we noticed all day long they had.
Yeah, I'm 10-4. Show me 98 on that.
Lexington Police Department helicopters circling the University of Kentucky. So I think they were just being particularly careful, make sure nothing happened with that in a large group of people getting together in one space. We talked about a little bit earlier today, and I'll bring it up for those of you who weren't there during it. I often wonder if Joseph Couch, he seems to, from everything we've read and heard, he has planned out what he was going to do to shoot these people on I-75. Even they found the plans in his car when they found his abandoned car of what he was going to do. So he seems to be a planner. You wonder if, the text message he sent to his ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, baby mama, whatever she was, said he was going to try to kill a bunch of people and then he was going to kill himself. Well, he didn't end up, luckily he didn't kill a lot of people. He injured 5 people. Luckily they all survived. So you wonder in his head, does he see himself as a failure that he didn't actually kill somebody, and is he going to try to do something else? So something like the Kentucky game tonight is a big group of people. They've got a chicken festival coming up. I think it's next weekend down near Corbin, where Kentucky Fried Chicken originated at. So that'll be another big group of people. They did last night play high school football, strangely enough, after they've had school canceled all week, but with a heavier state police presence at the game. So, which was kind of unusual to me. I kind of figured they would cancel the games or reschedule the games for this week, but they ended up having them with the police presence there, and we'll discuss that a little more in a few minutes. So, I think they're watching large groups of people, and since he's a mass shooter, you don't want him have an opportunity to do another mass shooting if he's still alive. We technically don't know if he's still alive or not. We think he is, but we don't know for 100% sure that he is. So if he is, they're afraid that he might try to do something else, which is, I think, a logical thought. So this afternoon, we saw state police helicopters flying over the Ravenwood area again. They multiple times they went out to the Sinking Creek area, Ravenwood neighborhood. They were out there pretty much all afternoon doing circles around that lake out there and the river out there and just that area in general. Again, they just did tight circles, so we didn't hear anything on the scanner. No indication they found anything. But again, they were kind of searching in that Daniel Boone National Park area once again that they finally expanded to. But it took them a while to get there. That's one of the things we've discussed every night this week is why is it taking them so long to expand the search? To expand the search area, because there for a long time they made it a very proud moment in their press conference that they discussed.
General, 31 subjects that were in a blue Kia Soul came into the store, went into the back in the stock room, opened up the back door to the store, had the car back there, and started loading stuff into the car. They went 98 towards Donna's grocery at this time.
Somebody's loading the stuff out the back of the Dollar General. So we talked about how long it took them to expand the search radius from a mile and a half. They're finally, as of Friday, moved out to the National Forest to start looking for this guy. They concentrated on that same area, a mile and a half radius from exit 49 for days on end.
34.
Even though they didn't find anything. So they're finally doing that.
I'll be back out here at Hampton Road.
Last couple of days we've seen them out there.
2163.
Out there searching, so we're at least getting a little progress. We did see hear from a local source today that another strange thing. He said that nowhere along I-75 in London or anywhere is there wanted posters of this guy, which is just awe-inspiring. That the lack of effort that they're putting into finding this guy. It just seems like they didn't even basic manhunt search stuff they're not even doing. It's very strange. I've never seen a manhunt go this way. I mean, I know people mostly use social media, but you would think locally you want people to see the wanted posters. So that's kind of what's been happening today. I'm going to give the mic over to Allie, and I'll be on the mic some too. But yeah, welcome everybody, and let's have some fun tonight.
And a big hoodie. Hey everyone, how's it going? Your savior has arrived. I'm kidding. Gotta pick on Tony a little bit. Alright, so as people come in here, welcome. Good evening. Happy Saturday to you. Let's just kind of, I know we have that video up where we made it was like a 5-minute video where we kind of go over the timeline. I'm going to see if I can kind of walk through that as people come in, and maybe I'll add in some things that we've seen, online from locals and other things like that. So the incident occurred last Saturday at about between 4:30 5:30 p.m. Hours before this shooting even occurred, a female, supposedly is the ex-girlfriend of Joseph Couch and or the baby mama, both. We're not real clear on that. Somebody that's close with him, that had relations with him, called police to let them know that he texted her phone saying he was going to try he was going to hurt a lot of people. He was going to kill a lot of people. I'm sorry. He was going to kill a lot of people, and then he put, well, at least try to. Now, if you're gonna go commit violence and he has military experience, I doubt. I can understand you saying you're gonna go try to shoot people, but to not be confident enough that you can make a shot with training like that, it sounded. So we'll go back to how it sounded, but that's what we know. He said, I'm going to kill a lot of people, or at least try. And then he said in a second text, then I'm going to kill myself. It's not uncommon for people to leave a note or let people know that they plan on taking their life. But the way these texts were provided, unless we had, screenshots or something, it sounded very staged. It's not necessarily staged to say, I'm going to kill myself, but to say the timeline, I'm going to kill people. Well, try to. Then I'm going to kill myself. And the fact that he left the AR that he used in the shooting behind, and 1,000 rounds of ammunition.
There's going to be a second vehicle that's come out here. If you don't care, just put on the log of that extra patrol and leave it open for the rest of the night. Out here several times.
These are just calls that they're following through on. Anything sounds big, I'll let you know. They've been looking for a guy that was walking down the side of the road. They've been looking for him for about 35, 40 minutes now.
Yeah.
But the text messages sounded very planned or planted. Like he wanted to create a narrative. And she called police first. And, they went out there. Then the shooting happens. You'd think they would realize, hey, we just had a call earlier that something was going to happen. We should go out there now.
Put on the log, please. Silver, GMC, Acadia. I have a female and male, make contact with them, said that they lived here, and he then ran between the two apartment buildings, got back in the car, and they fled the scene. Just put that on the lobby as well, please.
10-4.
So, I'm legitimately going to get so pissed off at this scanner that I'm going to shut it off and we're going to miss what happens. I'll get to the scanner in a second. So now we have a call coming in, and this is why I'm going to talk about the scanner in a second. Now we have a call coming in. Oh no, a female is screaming. She's screaming on the phone. Joseph Couch is there. Yeah, he's not there. I can already tell this is a dumb call. This is what I would hope maybe it is him so they can put an end to this. But we're starting to see patterns here. That these calls...
26 right with them.
These calls are ridiculous. We had a call earlier that we heard on the scanner where they said 15 shots fired from the wood line behind the back of somebody's house. We can hear shots being fired. And then the officers that respond to dispatch say 10-4. Like they're always calm. Like they're just, okay, we'll head out there. Which makes me think, do they know something? Which at this point, if they knew something, and they don't have a body, they don't have nothing. If they have...
I'm in out of control.
Oh, goody. Yay. Okay, let's be happy. That officer is going out to that fake call. Good. So, in about 20-30 minutes, we'll hear that call was fake. And I'm going to talk about the calls. That's what I'm trying to do before I keep getting disrupted by or interrupted by the dispatch. Now, these calls they're getting, they have to respond to all of them, but they don't sound excited. They don't sound worried. They sound annoyed. Like, all right, dispatch me out there. Okay, 10-4. And it almost makes me wonder, did they receive a tip that he left the state? You would think that they would want to come out and say, based on a tip we received or evidence we have, we don't think he's any longer in the nearby area or even in the state. But if they say that,
on the bridge.
then they'd have to
2200.
come under constant criticism, more than they already are. And I don't think that they want to admit that they dropped the ball. Big time. So these calls that keep coming in, I don't think people are making them to make it more difficult for law enforcement. But law enforcement just doesn't seem to be too concerned. They're still responding to these calls and they're checking them out. Obviously they have to. But it almost seems like it almost seems like they are pretty darn positive of more information that they're not giving us.
000045932617.
Now, this is something we haven't talked a bit about or shown much video on, which is the family of Joseph Couch. And I would like to talk about that a bit.
38 contract to Sebastian. Quick. He's negative round. Yeah.
I feel like tonight there's going to be a lot of interruption. And I apologize. And I will check the flight radar in a second. We do have a helicopter out of Lexington and a small plane. But with that game going on, it seemed like they were going to be hanging around Lexington just to kind of watch over the crowd control or anything that might happen at the game. It doesn't feel like they're afraid that Joseph Couch would, be celebrating a touchdown. But it could be more just about a large group of people congregated. So what I'd like to do, first I'll check the flight radar to see, because we did have that odd call come in. And that woman did say she believes it's Joseph Couch, or she saw Joseph Couch. And that could be why they're not sounding concerned over the phone. So that's that air medical helicopter. And it did actually leave Lexington. It's not hovering there. So I wonder if it's going to be coming down this way. Well, not this way, but towards London. We'll take a look. And then we have a small plane. It says it's a private owner. But it left the same area. So it could be that it's some type of police plane. And then all is quiet around London. All is quiet. So let's talk about the family a little bit. Oh, well, we've got something around Fort Knox. Oh, yeah.
31, 7 hours.
Look at this. Oh,
22.
they're just around Fort Knox right now. I doubt they're coming. And that's a medic helicopter. Knox County Sheriff's Office is up in the air, too.
He's around First Road. 197, go ahead. Call was disconnected with me. She said he was heading up the driveway towards Ferriston Road.
All right.
Long sleeve, gray t-shirt, camo shorts, ball cap, he has shoulder length long hair.
So this is interesting. Yesterday we noticed there was a lot of activity on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. So right around Knoxville, we have the Knox County Sheriff's Office out. And then we also have the Virginia State Police right on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky. I wonder if they are coming in to check around the border or even securing the border and hanging out there. It looks like that Air Medical is coming down here. No, the PHI. What's weird is they have nothing flying over the city of Lexington right now, where the football game
They may
is.
have, sometimes during big football games, they will close the airspace above the stadium.
So now, because of the poll that Tony put up, I'd like to talk a little bit about the family. The family, it's tricky to navigate when you're talking about it online. And it's all speculation, of course, but there are people that have interviewed friends, family members, neighbors. And we've heard from what I call the internet investigators, people that looked up family members' Facebook profiles and were, thought they could do the work of law enforcement or thought they're FBI in training. They have all said that the family is got a lot of issues. Like, they're not the best people.
Parkland Motel, room 126. 1950 South Highway 26. Elijah 192.
That, this family, we know they had a rocky past, but a lot of people were saying that, and these are the internet warriors saying that there's bad blood between family members. And then
number 8725 8725. That's 2207.
At the same time, they had the night of this shooting, we saw these internet warriors were posting pictures. I'm sure you can find the screenshots online. But Joseph Couch's mother, her name is Loretta Hinkle, went on to defend him, which, that's her son. And she said that he's not a violent person. He just had a mental breakdown. But to have a mental breakdown, this all seems very planned out, very calculated. So it could be that he had some mental issues, but I don't think it was a breakdown out of nowhere. And it's certainly, if he's had PTSD, then that would be information that law enforcement can say he's struggled with mental health. And they kind of sort of did. They said that he's got PTSD, but then we still have no straight answer on if he has any military training. But there is another internet streamer who's been following the case and took it upon himself to go out to Kentucky, to London, Kentucky. And he's been interviewing locals and walking around. If there was something substantial there, we might you know, share it with you guys or tell you where you can go view it. But the only thing we got out of that, of talking to the locals, is that it's a small, close-knit community. So a lot of people in the community take care of their own. So that makes me wonder, and the couch, there are a lot of people that were saying the Couch family was great. A lot of people were talking to Couch's mother and his sister, saying, I've known your brother Joe or your son Joe. I've known Joe forever, and he's the sweetest guy. So many things just aren't adding up, and I'm hoping that tomorrow, because it marks, you know, past 1 week that this incident occurred, I'm hoping we can get an update, a press conference. Even if they come on to say, obviously we don't have him, it would be nice just to hear from them. And maybe that could calm down some of these calls, because some of these calls are just so ridiculous. And it's gotta be so tiring for law enforcement. And it feels like they just are burdened by all of this. And going back to that reporter that was, you know, I call him a reporter, but really just the person that was out there getting in on the action, is and this person was walking around all over London, even in like the little downtown area by the exit 49 where this occurred, and even out in the woods, looking at the terrain and what caves are around, how big they are, how accessible they are. And there was maybe 5 cops seen. I mean, helicopters have been up and flying around every once in a while, but just that, I mean, that if you see police presence everywhere, at least you know they're around. Even if they're not actively like doing a search, they're around for if anyone has a concern. And just kind of keeping the peace in the community.
This male's bound to hit the woods on us. We're EQ on him. We're getting out of the caller's residence here.
So they arrived
2213.
at that woman's residence where she said Joseph Couch was there. And the male took off into the wood line. Again, didn't sound like they were too worried or going after it, but obviously they're going to somewhat pursue, but either they didn't get a good look at him or just saw the back of him, but they're at that scene now. So hopefully in a few minutes we'll hear that, more of that. So here's that private plane. And then we have a huge plane that's PHI-1. It's huge. I thought it was going to be a commercial flight.
Yeah.
And then we've got that PHI Air Medical helicopter.
Which is interesting. You never see any of that company during the day. It's always
No, you won't. But I mean, they said during the day they'd have Kentucky State Police up, and they did. And I think at night the PHI Air Medical has been taking over, but they have this PHI airplane up, and that is as big as a jumbo jet.
That's a big plane for a medical plane.
Well, it doesn't say medical. It says PHI-1. So when I'm talking PHI, it might be easier, honey, if you tell yourself Philadelphia's coming to help.
All right.
Philly is inbound.
All right.
But that's how you'll remember those numbers. So PHI-1.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
That's all that we have on that. And we can tell it's a jumbo jet. But why are you bringing something the size of a commercial airline jet in?
Right.
There's no need for that. And could that be, I mean, that's obviously not a commercial flight. It would have a destination.
Right.
And then we've got that PHI air medical helicopter right in front. Yep, see, that's a... And this is going from Dallas to Milan. That's a small little jumper. And then we've got another private owner plane that took off right around the same time. So we'll have to see where they land. That big jumbo jet is gone. That PHI-1. So this is interesting. We had an air evac life team helicopter. It's right over Monticello right now. But it took off from right in between Corbin and Woodbine by the Corbin bypass, right off of I-75.
Yeah.
I don't know when. And then it went straight over the woods, and now it's in Monticello.
Set up smoke controls for that residence for the next 3 nights. Up 2100 reference further.
And they're heading back towards the Cumberland River right now. Huh. Do you have eyes on that Monticello?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that they need to get more people in there. They say the FBI is there. They say ATF is there. They say the U.S. Marshals are there. But the people that have been on the ground in London aren't even seeing law enforcement around. And yeah, I mean, eventually, like right now, I know if I lived there, I would be thinking, like, when are these kids going to get back in school? Because unfortunately, these kids, at least in some of these smaller counties in Kentucky, they don't have Chromebooks ready to go where they can just switch to remote. And if kids aren't in school, I imagine parents have to miss work. So, these people have to start getting back to living a normal life. And we've seen just
34 to 26.
how badly the schools have been affected from pulling kids out of school during
That
COVID.
trailer over there, that 4 group of trailers, the one that looks like it's abandoned, she said he's got a past of crawling up the underpinning in that one. I'll go check it out.
See, all these calls, they're just having to check out. But, I mean, we've seen a lot of, there's some people that have said, oh, it's because of the election and everything going on in politics that there's an uprise on school shootings. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Because if they're in middle school or, high school, if, like we just had in Georgia, he was 15 years old. He can't vote anyways. Why does he care? So, I don't necessarily believe when people say that these school shootings, the uptick in these are from the election. Obviously, times are getting rougher. But, I know people firsthand. I know Tony knows people that when their kids went out of school and went to virtual for COVID, these kids never got back into school. So once they were home, they never, they had that taste of not having to go to school. So
2220.
let's see. That Air Evac Life team is still up. I wonder if I can pull them up. Because before I found them on the scanner. Would they be Laurel? No. Would they be Knox? Alright, I found that Air Evac Life Team helicopter on the scanner. I'm going to listen in and see if they say where they're searching. You can hear them. You can hear the helicopter in the air. You know, if, you know, our friend Joey C could just say, yep, I'm not in Kentucky. Thank you. That's all we need. Just let us know if you're in Kentucky or not so these people can get back to a life. I'm just going to pop around and look before I go back over to Laurel County. I'm going to go through the current active events we have right now in the U.S. Thank you. We've got multiple counties in Wisconsin. This is coming from Ashland, Bayfield counties. They have a high-speed police pursuit in Bayfield County. That was about 8 minutes ago, so that's just unfolding. Loudoun County Combined Fire Rescue out of Loudoun County, Virginia has a building fire. Prince William County, Virginia, they have an active event as of 9:48 p.m. They have a shooting. 10 minutes before that at 9:38 p.m. we have an active event out of Indianapolis, Indiana, another shooting. That's currently the most popular scanner being used right now. We have over 1,000 people on the Indianapolis scanner, and that's been going on for nights now. We still have that big structure fire at that hydro dam in Saratoga County, New York. And then a lot of wildfires in California and stuff like that. So now we will go back to Laurel County. So we have a couple of helicopters. We're monitoring their activity. One might be coming into London right now. It's kind of near Mount Vernon, to the east of I-75. So we're going to be kind of watching that. And then there's a couple calls out that sound like they could be something. I don't think it's Joseph Couch, but we're going to hear what comes up over the scanner and see. But really, now there's been like 3 calls in 30 minutes. So now we're kind of just waiting to hear updates on those calls.
What? People just buzz. We're looking out for like a brand new model. Kind of looks like a Kia Soul. It's kind of a weird shape like that. It's a female driver, male passenger. I'll get pictures and send it out to everybody when I get it. Tell her, hey, you have the color on it and all that. That's like Kentucky blue spray.
Where did that big plane go? It was following this helicopter, and now it's just gone. And they're kind of in a really dense part of the woods. And here's that air evac. So the flight radar that I just pulled up, and I have the flight path pulled up, there's a couple second delay, so I'll wait for you guys to see that. Where it started, which is to the right of that helicopter right now, it took off from in between Corbin and Woodbine, right next to I-75. And the Corbin...
She also texted Edmund for drug information.
The Corbin, Gray, and Woodbine areas. Those three areas are kind of the areas we've all heard that Joseph Couch is from. Which one of those three exactly, I'm not sure. But we've heard Corbin, we've heard Gray, and we've also heard Woodbine. So that took off. The flight path that it's showing you now, it took off right in between Corbin and Woodbine, just next to I-75. And then it cut through Daniel Boone National Forest and went below the tree line around the city of Monticello. Then it went back up above the trees. It's up in the air right now, and it looks like it's going north towards Lexington, Kentucky. And then we've got, I'm going to switch to the other one now. And this is the one that just left Lexington at 10:02, and it looks like it's making a straight shot to London. So that'll be interesting, because why they're making straight shots here over the past few nights, I don't know. I mean, if we heard a medical call come in and then we see a helicopter make a beeline towards Laurel County, and then they go back up in the air and they go straight to Lexington, we can see if they land at a hospital or if they go back to the hangar. So if it were a medical call, I could understand them having to constantly bring helicopters, you know, down to Laurel County. But when there's no medical calls, that's when it becomes really strange. We don't know. Are they dropping people off? But that wouldn't really make sense, because they said they weren't going to be doing on the ground, you know, boots on the ground searching during the day. So I don't know, maybe they're just flying and looking through camera and, you know, the different equipment they have, like thermal and stuff like that. Maybe they're running that from the helicopter, and then before they go back to Lexington, they touch down in London and refuel. But I mean, and it doesn't take them more than 35 minutes to get from Lexington to London. So I don't think and they don't stay up for more than an hour.
We're all going 98, right? I spoke with this female off her ETO 29s. She said she's gonna either come up to the sheriff's office tonight or get up with me at a later time. She said she'll call you when she gets to the signal 4. We'll be 98.
2220.
So I think what we'll do for right now, because we've discussed a lot about this case, and we've discussed theories and speculation, but with the scanner constantly going off as much as it is, you can't even finish the thought you had. And I feel like we're getting to the point, and it's not just us here on Breaking News HQ, it's everyone that's reporting on it is what can you say? There's nothing. We can listen to the scanner and we can watch the air and we can try to piece together bits of information, which we've been doing, and I think that's all we can do at this point until there's another press conference or something breaking happens. So I think, you know, obviously we've got that game lined up for later, and as soon as it quiets down, we'll get that game started. Right now, it would be very irritating and annoying to try to compete with the scanner. And of course, we don't want to turn off the scanner, because even if it's not that they find him, we want to hear the different calls going on there. And maybe we'll get some bits and pieces of information or some clues that we can use. And I am going to fix that flight radar up for you guys right now. But as we listen to the scanner and we listen for what's going on with these phone calls and the outcomes of them, and while we're watching the radar, I don't want you guys to think that we're not here. We are. It's just so hard when people are trying to listen into the scanner and stuff like that. And, you know, though people could listen to a scanner on their own, sometimes it is easier when you have somebody that can tell you what they heard, because sometimes it can be hard to hear it, or even the codes. Some people hear the codes and they're like, what's that call mean? Well, what's that mean? And if I can, I mean, I know there's a standard version of 10 codes, but then some cities have more unique codes too that they use. But it saves you from having to Google what these codes could be. But I'd like to open it up where you guys can put questions in the chat. You can put theories. And kind of have you guys lead some of the conversation. I know we're still waiting for more people to get on in here. Saturday night, so it might be a little later. But feel free to just mosey on in. Mosey on by. And yeah, definitely put theories in the chat, speculation, maybe things you've heard that we haven't reported on. It doesn't even have to be about the, you know, Mr. Joseph Couch, the Laurel, Kentucky situation. It can be anything you've heard. And any questions you might have. If there's something you'd like us to pull up, chances are we might already have it. We might not have it up on the screen. But like if you want to see a map of the the railroads, or if you want to see the little interactive picture we found with the caves, we can do that. So we'll have those, and then if you ask for something that we don't have, won't take us too long to get it. But we want to try to hear from you guys, not just you all listen to us. And if you've got information that you'd like to come on and discuss it with us, then let us know that too, and we can try to work something out where we can bring you on the stream. And you don't necessarily have to be on camera if you don't want, but you know, at least we'd be able to hear you on the stream. I'm gonna pull up that. Oh, hold on, let me get my mouse back. Tony's got controls of the mouse most of the time. But I'm going to try to pull up that flight radar, because it looks like they are landing in London. They're getting close to it. So I zoomed in on that. But yeah, we'd like to hear what you guys think about this case. You know, we've compared it to other cases, and we'll be doing that kind of in, you know, side by side with the game that we're doing later. But if you have questions, comments, theories, something you want us to pull up, something you want us to look into, something going around somewhere else, let us know. But for right now, we're going to just kind of listen in on the scanner, watch the flights. You can probably delete that Bollinger case off the list. That's the one that got us struck. The game should be fun. And we don't even know the answers.
No.
That's the best part. We actually get to play along. That's a really good point, Bubble. That's something we haven't talked about yet today, is that reward. It's the last time we had a presser was, I believe...
Was that morning the governor did one? There hasn't been one since.
I believe that was Wednesday, wasn't it?
It was either Wednesday or Thursday morning.
I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah, I think so.
So Wednesday was the last press conference, and we'll get confirmation on that. We'll go back and look. But either way, we haven't heard anything since that pop-up press conference early in the morning. So since we've heard nothing else from government or law enforcement there, I'm guessing it's still, the reward is still at $35,000. Once you get past a week and we don't have any information, you would think it would go up. And I want to check in on this, but I believe, I know Cavalcante was more, but I believe Brian Landry was a lot more because they had found his girlfriend Gabby's remains. I don't know if that's why it went up more, because there was an actual death associated with Brian Landry, but still, this was, he could have killed 5 people, this Joseph Couch. He tried, he attempted, he caused a lot of panic and mayhem, so I don't think that should change the reward amount. So they did land, they just landed that helicopter in London. Or they went below the tree lines. But yeah, I don't think 35,000 is definitely enough. And with the price they have it at, 35,000 is enough of a reward. I don't think it's enough, no, for people to go out and actually, like professionals, like you mentioned, Bubba, like bounty hunters going out. I don't think that reward is high enough. But I do, based on what I've heard, the $35,000 reward.
What's district court date down in Laurel County?
That reward, that was them saying the helicopter landed, but the
Otter Enon citation.
35,000, that's enough that it could make a dent in somebody's life that lives in that area. And from some of the locals, that's what we could kind of see in interviews, is that they want to go out and find this guy and collect the reward. And that makes it all the more dangerous. Because now you have these people out there, and even like this guy from out of state that investigates these odd cases, and he investigates different things. He's out there, and he was walking through the woods, and he saw a bicycle in the middle of the woods, and was like, oh, well, that's fine. That's weird. Didn't call the police and report that he found a bike. It started to get dark, and he's like, oh, I heard a noise. What was that? But this guy is all alone. I mean, he did bring somebody with him to Kentucky, but that person was back at the hotel. So he's walking through Daniel Boone Forest
It She'd been there.
right
She'd
by
been
exit
done
49.
Or the 46 one.
And he has no weapon on him, not even a knife for protection. So I think that these people are going out there trying to find him on their own. And they're enticed by the money, and that just makes it more dangerous. Way more dangerous.
Also, October 18th at 10:30.
October 18th. And you know, they said, I believe Scotty Pennington had it in one of his Facebook posts. He said, we have the U.S. Marshals, the ATF, and the FBI assisting. Well, the Marshals are the ones that found Cavalcante. That's kind of what they do. So the Marshals could find Cavalcante, but the Marshals, the FBI, the ATF, the state police, and Laurel County can't find him? That's weird to me. And that's only going to make people want to keep going out there. And we talked a little bit about the land yesterday, not just the terrain, but that people that own land out there, whether they're, marijuana farmers or whether they're moonshine, whether they have other things like a meth lab. I mean, all these things in those parts of the Appalachians, it's dicey. Mailbox in danger.
EMS Station 2 needs an consent 8. Laurel County Detention Center, 440 Hammock Road, seizure.
Really? An alert for that. Somebody's having a seizure at the jail. Seizure at the detention center. What's with all these people having seizures in Kentucky? I mean, between last night and today, we've heard about 6 seizure calls.
Yeah, it's a mess. And I got that Facebook post. If you want to bring it up, I can add it on there from Scotty Pennington from last night when they're proudly taking pictures of police at the at the football game.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it up and talk a little bit more about that, but I don't want to leave that one up.
That's okay. We won't put it. It was kind of weird today that this morning, Scotty Pennington from the state police said and posted on Facebook, and you're welcome to go look it up yourself, where they had all of the state police and all the police at the high school football games, which I agree that was necessary. I understand why they did it, but instead of patrolling and looking for danger, they're busy taking pictures, smiling at the end of the end zone of the football stadium.
They're doing photo ops.
Right, and there's multiple selfies they took and stuff like that. It's like, are you really taking this serious or you're not?
Now, maybe it's just the way I was raised. I wasn't raised super strict, but I was raised where there was a certain standard and certain rules that were expected. And I played ice hockey. That was my big thing. So if I missed school, you better believe I was not going to be allowed to play.
11:45.
So
11:45.
I understand why they close schools.
Coming out 34 North Quarter Street traffic.
And I'm so glad they did.
2:44.
Let's keep the chillins safe. I agree.
LA 53 London.
I will stand behind that 110%. So, Laurel County schools were closed all week.
Before we go into the jail,
I applaud.
Hammock Road.
Let's
The
see.
25-year-old female, She's had a seizure, hit her head. She does have a history of seizures. Quick, come on, Tom.
Another freaking seizure.
Go ahead.
Her number 8726 8726 times 2242 and 2245.
I mean, do I need to take a medical bag and go out there and give people seizure medications?
Maybe.
Look up numbers for different neurologists and have them go see? Craziness. Like, that's really odd for especially a small place like this. If I were back in my city and I heard 6 seizure calls, even if I heard 6 seizure calls in an hour and a half, I wouldn't be shocked. But in that area, that's a bit shocking. Now, like we were talking about the schools, I'm absolutely applauding them. That was a great move. So you close the schools for a week. The kids are at home, they're safe. They were still getting calls all week threatening school shootings or school violence.
1134.
Even in Laurel County, there was one night at about, I want to say it was like Tuesday or Wednesday night, about like 10:30, right around this time, 10:30, 10:40 at night. They had to have Laurel County and Kentucky State Troopers go out to they went to the middle school and the high school in Laurel County because there was a threat of violence at night, that somebody was in the school and had a gun. So they went in and they cleared it out. So I absolutely think they have been doing an excellent job by closing down the schools last week. Where my issue lies, if you close the schools because of a huge manhunt underway, you're gonna still allow them to all congregate at a football field to play a football game? I get it. America. Football, baseball, that's our sports. Got it. Good. All about the red, white, and blue. I am too. I get it. But I don't care if my kid was the high school quarterback. If your school has been closed for a week because of this, and this guy's still out on the run, even if I go with you, we're not going to that game.
Right. It was an odd decision to let those games happen after closing schools all week. I agree.
And I don't think Joseph Couch would show up at the Laurel County High School football game. But if these kids have been going out at night with swords and guns because they're bored, because they're not in school, you really think that a football game is going to be safe? And you're not supposed to... I mean, obviously during COVID, we didn't have sports going on. You didn't have kids not in a classroom, but then being rewarded with playing sports. So, I get it. High school football, Friday night lights. It's a big thing in Michigan, and it's my favorite time of year, the fall. I get it. I'm all about that, especially the small towns. I get it. And there was a lot of police presence there, but that doesn't change the fact that now kids aren't going to take this seriously. I don't see how parents could take law enforcement seriously because they thought it was big enough that they had to close the schools. But a football game at night is totally fine. No issue there. So if your kids can all congregate for a football game, I think you can get the kids back in school.
Well, I mean, there's solutions to this where they didn't have to shut those schools down. I absolutely agree. You got to protect the children. However, they just drug their feet and doing an emergency state and didn't bring. You could have brought the National Guard in. I mean, you lock down the school and you put a National Guard. Couple of National Guard soldiers at the front door and you're good. I mean, it doesn't require you to shut down the whole school.
And one thing I'd like to, we've been talking about their response. You could easily, if you have officers hanging out at a football game, to keep secure everything. We also had officers still responding to calls. So if you have enough officers to keep tabs over a football game and still have officers responding to calls, you can very easily take that same method, and before school starts and when school gets out, you have armed officers walking around. Would not be that difficult. And kids could still go to school. One thing, I'm about to take a quick break to go look at something for you guys, and I'll have Tony come on, but one thing, and this is what I'm going to look into and see how much or what I can say about it, and that's what I'm going to go look into right now. But there was an interview on social media, and this is one of the things I'm going to try to find. This was not mentioned by law enforcement, but at that 49er truck stop off of exit 49 on I-75 in Laurel County where the shooting occurred, they had an armed security guard because it's a huge truck stop and they have 24/7 security. And then I heard a conflicting report that someone said, oh, they don't have 24/7 security. It's only on the weekends. Well, if that's the case, this shooting happened on a weekend. So I tried to look into more information, and I found a video where somebody interviewed the security guard. And he wasn't nervous. He was an oddball. Very odd. And it's not like he's just an awkward person or like he was nervous talking. It's like, and he was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And he didn't have anything that said he was security. I don't know. I mean, what security guard? I can understand if this guy had a scope and an AR, he might have an advantage on you. Well, he does, but even if you can't take the shooter down, I think you're advanced enough as a security guard that you can at least recognize what he looks like. Right. Or you can tell cops, yeah, he was shooting down at cars. He didn't see me. I was standing, outside, or I was standing in the building. He didn't see me. But I saw him. I couldn't get a good look at his face, but I know he ran back into the woods, or he ran down the trail and then I lost him. I mean, that would be something. That would be better than nothing. So a security guard is the one that saw this. Now that's the reason we have a description of what Joseph Couch was wearing. He said, this was the security officer that said, I couldn't see his face, so no, I can't say it's the guy in the picture. He said, but I do know he had like a long gun down by his side, and he was wearing blue jeans and a blue shirt. And then that's what they put out as the description of what Joseph Couch was wearing. But that's still not one single person has been able to place his face with this shooting. I'm not saying that he didn't do it, but that is going to cause some issues in court.
Well, they've screwed up the whole search for him so much. How much did they screw up the crime scene? I mean, we haven't found out what the evidence they collected, really, or if they do catch him and they go to court, will he ever be convicted because they screwed up the...
Well, it would depend how much money the family's got for a lawyer. A public defender, they're going to go with whatever the court wants to do.
And what lawyer's going... I mean, who knows, some fancy lawyer comes in from New York or something, and it gets his name out there, so he'll do it pro bono.
or somebody that's really, really upset with how this whole thing has been handled.
Right.
So, and then of course, the last theory I have, and I hate to even say this. There's not many people in here, but I'm begging you, don't go out and repeat this. If you watch other news stories or watch other media stuff or even see a post on something, but because we don't have a positive ID and we couldn't see that this was the shooter, we know that his car was found. They ran the plates and it came back to Joseph Couch and they saw the weapon and the ammunition, but he had a flat tire in the back. So who's to say that, you know, he doesn't have stuff in there from drill and this was like a setup? I don't think he was set up. I really don't. I believe that this was planned by him and he had help getting away. But there are some people that have speculated that they just pinned this on him because he had prior issues with law enforcement. He was very upset that they tried to even charge him with the terroristic threat against the neighbor's dog. And Joseph showed up in court for his court date, and the neighbor did not. So because the neighbor who made the police report and wanted to press charges didn't show up in court, then the case got dropped. But Joseph Couch still had to pay money and serve, I think it was 6 months?
Yeah, I think so.
For a prior offense.
Right.
That wasn't for the terroristic threat because that got dropped, but he obviously feels like law enforcement is targeting him. And because we don't have so many details that are clear about the family, what if this is a family that is not real popular or not real liked? Maybe they're liked in the community, but maybe they have issues with law enforcement. We don't know. Could they have pinned this on him? We don't know. But I have heard it, and that's what I hope is not true, that this is some corrupted scheme or anything. But I mean, I don't see why they would just waste Laurel County money and Kentucky State Police money and federal money for all this. But there are some people that feel that the planes going up and never finding anything is just for show. And I hate that theory, but obviously you can't cross any theory off, really. So let me pop in. The scanner's been pretty quiet, but we are waiting on a few follow-up calls. It doesn't sound to me like they ever got the person that parked behind Dollar General, opened up their trunk, and then started loading stuff from the store into their car.
Yeah.
I mean,
He just walked in the front door and then walked in the back and opened the back door and started unloading the stock room into his car.
strange.
Like 48 minutes.
I'm gonna leave that phone so you can adjust the
48.
volume.
Shows now.
I just
Stationary power travel centers will be subject inside the store was injured in an assault.
Yeah, the
out
scanner's
the back
quite
parking lot.
active tonight. We've got it back on right now, but I may end up turning it back off if this stuff comes
I
in.
just turned it down. I don't turn
Or, well, turn it down. Because
There's 87, 27, 87,
there's nothing that seems real
dispatched 27 around.
real
29.
awe-inspiring going on. So, yeah, and I think I mentioned this as we started up, that we had about this, that there's another YouTuber that's there on the ground
Yeah,
inspecting
You can-
or investigating the London area. And usually,
Number 8728, 8728, come out 258.
so he's on the ground doing investigation there. We've mentioned it a couple times, and the interesting thing he said to me when while he was there, on the way up there, they stopped at rest areas and gas stations and stuff in Kentucky, and there were no wanted posters anywhere. And I mean, to me, that would be just Manhunt, day one. You would think they would be trying to canvass the area with stuff. Like I said earlier, I know social media is not as necessary, but you got truck drivers and stuff coming through the area and people visiting, tourists going through that may not be searching their social media or heard anything about it because the national news really didn't cover it.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I saw that Bubble said something about people vanishing. I did look it up earlier because we heard about that from that local woman who said that, long time ago, her cousin vanished in this area.
All right.
It's been, years and years and years they never found her. And so I decided to do a simple Google search and go around trying to find how many missing people there are around that Daniel Boone National Forest. There are hundreds, close to 1,000 of people that have vanished and never been found. Whether they passed in the woods or they went off the grid or they're gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you could hear Allie, but we were watching something earlier, a news report from earlier, and they were talking to a local lady that was doing DoorDash, and she was talking about there was a family member that disappeared over a year ago, and they still haven't found her. And
this was
years and years ago, and they never found her. And Allie did some research and found out there's been thousands of people that have disappeared in the past 20 years in Kentucky, and they never find them.
They search for like a week or so, and then they just
They search for like a week ago, for a week or so, and they just kind of it goes to the what they call it cold case file. So I mean, it's just crazy. You can't just give up that easily. I mean, I just worry that they're gonna finally at some point this weekend say, okay, well, we've done everything we can, and that, that's where it's gonna end, or may end for good. Who knows?
It might sound like it. I think if they stopped the search, then he got away with it.
Right. If they stop the search, they'll never find him. I mean, God, who knows if they find... They're not... They name all these resources that they supposedly... The FBI, what is it? The... ATF and marshals and stuff. Nobody's seen any marshals. Nobody's seen the FBI. Nobody's seen... I mean, which I know that's not their job, but, you think they involve them. The press conferences have just stopped. But let's be honest, the press conferences, even before they stopped, we didn't really get no damn information from them anyway. They just... We're looking. I mean, that's essentially... They were... If you watched the police before they came on for the press conferences, they were more enamored about being on camera and smiling like everything was all hunky-dory before they came on camera. It was all about their 15 minutes of fame, I think, more so because when they actually got up there, nothing that was actually said. It's like they never held a press conference in their life.
We talked about this, you and I, earlier, but every time we've seen things like this happen, you want to secure the scene.
Right.
Scene safe is used all the time.
Right.
But you get people in. All you need to do for scene safe is there are no current shots being fired.
Right.
Then you start taking people. If you arrive at the scene and don't hear gunfire, don't see shots, don't see someone running, then you take 5, even 10 officers,
and he made accusations to the caller
and have them immediately start going back into the woods, down the trails, within 20 minutes of the scene being secured. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier, if they do catch him, the court case is going to be fascinating because if they've screwed up the investigation for him this much, God only knows how they screwed up the investigation.
But like I was just saying before the scanner came on is the first thing you're supposed to do, scene safe.
Right.
Once you say those words, scene safe, paramedics can come in and start taking care of the victims that were injured. then the cops just keep a couple people placed there, and they start going out and looking.
Right.
They did not leave that truck stop until 2 hours later.
Well, and then it took them forever to get there. It wasn't like they got there immediately after it started happening. It was 30 minutes to an hour after it started before they got there. It's like, you know, you get that call on the scanner, you think people will be all over it. And it's just they're very lackadaisical about everything that's going on.
And even with Cavalcante and Brian Landry, we heard from the family. Even though we think Brian Landry his mother knew where he was, they came out in front of their house and spoke.
All right.
They spoke to him, saying, if you're listening. We've not heard from any family besides the mom going on Facebook and the sister going on Facebook defending him, saying this is not him.
Right.
98 now, Joe. 38 on the foot.
Well, and you know, I'm originally from South Carolina, and I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar with the Murdaugh case where he killed his wife and son, or, well, I guess he got convicted of it. But if you watch that court case, South Carolina's state police agency is called SLED, State Law Enforcement Department. How he got convicted, I'll never know, because I watched that case from beginning to end, and they screwed that case and that investigation up so much. I was amazed at the end that I think he did it? More than likely he did do it, but the way they collected the evidence and the way they let people stomp across it and walk through it.
And it did not come out until he got convicted how corrupt the family was.
Right, and there's
before this came out, they were South Carolina's leading family. They were the vision of South Carolina.
right.
They were the vision of Southern living and Southern hospitality.
A lot of that family, Murdaugh family's corruption didn't come out until the court case happened. Well, I say that most of the country didn't realize how corrupt that one of South Carolina's strongest families were. But I'm not familiar with the family. I don't particularly live in that area. But based on the locals, what they were saying, they were all aware how corrupt they were, and everything was kind of shady. But I mean, I think they put a good picture on their family for everybody in the outside world when he was embezzling millions of dollars, addicted to pain pills, and all this other. It was like living in South Carolina at that time was like watching a soap opera. It was like it was kind of like Joseph Couch on steroids. It was something was happening every single day, and it wasn't just press conferences. It was something messed up every day, like the kid's friend getting killed in a boat crash, and it was just crazy. It was like you couldn't turn it off because something happened every single day.
But everyone thought, oh, that's so horrible for this beautiful, wonderful picture of what a Southern family should be.
Right.
It wasn't until after that the world got to see the people that knew that family, which is,
Right.
hey, this should have been investigated and handled way differently. We've known these were bad people. Why is the news saying that this is such a tragedy for the family?
Right. Until the whole court case started happening, the truth about that family really didn't come out to everybody in the world. But it was, again, the law enforcement agency that handled that investigation screwed up so much. I can only imagine how bad this one's going to be screwed up.
Brian Landry's parents were out with law enforcement looking.
Right.
We haven't found, and we knew he had killed Gabby. It's not like it was a missing person and we were concerned about her well-being. We knew he killed Gabby.
Right.
So, in this case, we know that this guy definitely shot people, but the family hasn't gone out to help search during the day.
Right. Yeah, this is very different from the Brian Landry case. The family of Joseph Couch is the opposite end of the spectrum than Brian Landry's family, where Brian Landry's family kind of helped in the investigation.
Which, I think they were helping in search so they could take law enforcement away from where they knew he was at. But they still were out there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Brian Landry's family, may have been pretending somewhat to help, but Joseph Couch's family, they have.
And at least Brian Landry's family came outside of their house and did their own press conference.
Right. Yeah.
And they spoke.
We haven't heard anything from Joseph Couch's mother since that first night, or at least I don't think we have. I haven't seen anything else from.
And it's not like they need to bring her on so she can say, "Oh, he's not like this. He's a good guy." All they need her to do is come out and say, "I'm sorry this happened, Joseph. If you're listening, please turn yourself in." Nothing.
Right. They haven't. His family hasn't done anything to put a good face on it at all. That's for sure.
If you could, I wanted you to get on to talk about how upset I was by what Kentucky did with the game today. The towels.
Oh, yeah. We heard today. So, I don't know how many people in here are familiar with Kentucky football, but Kentucky used to have a quarterback, and this was a few years back. Within the last 10 years. I couldn't tell you the exact date. And his last name was Couch, and I don't even remember his first name. He was a bigger kid. Tim Couch. And I think if I remember right, he was a bigger kid. He was like 6 foot something and kind of heavy for a quarterback. But nonetheless, I guess today their plan was to ahead of this game against Georgia. Their plans were to celebrate this kid by giving out rally towels to everybody that came in with his name on the towels.
They were white towels and said Couch. And that's all they said.
There were white towels that said Couch on them. And they continued and went ahead and handed those out during the game, or as people came into the game today. It's like, do you not want? In whose mind does it seem like a good idea that we should do this? I mean, after this, what happened last Saturday night,
And now you got a bunch of fans in a stadium waving towels that say Couch.
Right, now you got a bunch of fans in the stadium waving a towel that says Couch. Right out a week since a Couch didn't kill him. He shot all these people. Does somebody with the university's PR not have enough brains to say, hey, we might want to wait on this or not ever do it at all?
It's right about to end.
So, I mean, it's, at what point does the University of Kentucky's PR team not say, okay, let's not do that today?
Right, but look, the game is about to end in a minute and a half, and they're down by 1. If they lose, it could be mayhem up in...
Yeah, the game's about over, and Kentucky's down by 1 with about a minute left in the fourth quarter. So if they lose to Georgia, which Georgia's number 1 in the country, and everybody expected them to lose, there could be mayhem in Lexington, Kentucky when this game ends. So it's just, I don't know. It's just, people don't think. It's amazing to me how little people think. Yeah, Bubble, we do hope he doesn't have food or water, but he seems like such a planner, as I was talking about earlier.
No, that was that they shouldn't have said that. I mean, that's all they said.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's really... The cousin that we watched a video one night this week when we started streaming...
But remember, the mother said that she's not part
Yeah,
of
the cousin said, yeah, you need to turn yourself in. What you did wasn't good. Then the mother came out. His mother came out after that and said, that girl's not really part of the family.
But there are so many couches in that area.
And there are so many couches in that area. I mean,
there's hundreds.
I mean, I think there's even one named Couch that's a lawyer. So, which we don't know if he's related or not to this family. But there seems to be Couches. Seems to be a very common name in that area. So, but no, I mean, most of the family, nobody's come out and said, "Hey, man, this is horrible what you did. Turn yourself in. We'll work it out." No, there's been nothing from the family that I've seen that anybody's made an effort to get him to come out of hiding, to turn himself in, to coax him out. Even I heard somebody talking earlier today that I think it was Cavalcante they were talking about. They used, I think it was his mother's voice. She recorded a message that says, "Please turn yourself in," and they played it over loudspeaker from the helicopters that were doing searching. far as I know, nothing like that's happened in this case. There's a lot of stuff in this case that nothing's happened. So I mean, and probably the family wouldn't even be willing to do it if they offered to do it. So it's just crazy how the family has just, you know, it's almost like they're saying, okay, it's okay what you did. I mean, even if they don't feel that way, that's what it seems like because of the way they're reacting to this. Right. You don't want them, if somebody's armed and dangerous, you don't want to agitate them. You're trying to use somebody's voice that will appease them to get them to come out and not shoot up anybody else. I don't know. This is the strangest case I've ever seen. I'll admit it.
To say he's armed and dangerous, we still haven't found him. We believe he's just hiding out in the woods, but everyone is saying.
Right. And then, like, the very beginning, you got the mayor coming out saying, hey, we know where he's at. Well, clearly you don't. So why'd you come out and say that? You're not making anybody feel any safer when you come out and tell a bold-faced lie.
Anything on the flight radar?
Not really. There's nothing really on the flight radar right now. I mean, there's some planes flying around, but no helicopters right now. So I don't get. It's been a comedy of errors watching this whole unfold up in London. It's just.
And unfortunately, if Kentucky loses, like they're about, they just lost. Who knows how it could be?
Yeah, and Kentucky just lost, so there will probably be more than likely more mayhem tonight. So. Yeah, I don't know. This has been the biggest mess I think I've ever seen. So.
This was going to be a truck driver. Even your caller a ride. The caller advised that this male got mad at
Yeah, you're right, Bubble. They did say what we do know is that he is a coward. Yeah, let's go ahead and just tick the dude off even more, and then you know he finds out none of the people that he shot end up dying, and that's what I was saying earlier. Is that going to tick him off because, you know, he didn't succeed at what he was doing or was planning to do? So does that make him more agitated that if he's still in that area, is he going to come out shooting
It's like Kentucky's going to try to do something.
So they've done it.
Black and blues, single cab, Dodge Dakota truck, leaving out unknown on Spring Street, unknown address on Spring Street. So being route to 40 Riverside Loop and oil lead cars advising the male subject. So being route there, two of them sounds grossly intoxicated as he was leaving now in around that location.
What is that called?
Sounds like somebody is really drunk going left. Somebody's left in his pickup truck from somebody's house, and they called to say he was drunk and they need to do something.
Don't hit a mailbox.
Yeah, hopefully he don't hit a mailbox. That'd be a whole nother call. Yeah, this whole Joseph Couch investigation should be like a case study for other police departments on what not to do if you have a mass shooting, for sure. Hell, even for the towns with like the emergency planning and stuff, it should be somebody needs to make a study on what happened here, and so that nobody else ever conducts an investigation like this again. We do have a helicopter up just outside of London, but it's one of those PHI air medical
Well, at night that's the only one we've been getting.
Right, but it's a blue one. Aren't they typically yellow? Or is that the Heart one? I can't remember. But anyway, it's a medical helicopter. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't even begin to imagine where this case is going to end up going. It's crazy. I fully expect it to. I fully expect them sometime this week just to call it off, but hopefully not. But that would shock me if they don't. So we'll. I guess we wait and see. It was all we can do. It's still weird to me that they keep searching, even though, okay, they've expanded the search to farther into Daniel Boone National Forest. Great. the last 2 days they've searched the exact same area of Daniel Boone National Forest. So, at what point do you decide, okay, we need to move on to a different area? Or they had 4 helicopters up today, or 5 helicopters really, 4 Army helicopters and 1 state police helicopter. All 4 of the Army helicopters searched the same place in Joseph Couch's where he lived at. And then the state police helicopter searched in the same area that they searched in on Friday. So at what point do you say, okay, we got 4 helicopters, why are we all looking in the same area? And we brought the state helicopter back out there, and we searched for 2 days in the exact same area. And the crazy thing is, the state helicopter would go to the airport and refuel and go right back to the same area and do the same path that he did before he went and refueled.
2319.
Right, Bubba. There was a little bit different there, but yeah, and that's the problem. In that case, the prison officials were at fault and maybe somewhat corrupt, and I think somewhat the family of Joseph Couch is at fault in this one, and possibly other local people that may have. Like I said, Couch is a big name in Kentucky, so are the other people at fault for hiding him or hiding information or whatever? I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out that we don't know currently, that's going to maybe hopefully clear up some of the stuff why we have to keep asking why is this happening, and why don't we know more information. So that's it. Well, yeah. We got 2 seconds left, but pretty much Kentucky goes down to Georgia, which I didn't even expect it to be this close of a game. Georgia's beating them 13-12 with 2 seconds left in the game, but who knows what mess we're gonna see tonight. The scanner's probably gonna blow up after this between drunk people.
I think I'm gonna check in on Lexington too and hear.
Right, that might not be a bad idea. Listen to the Lexington scanner as well.
Maybe like a half hour or so after the game.
So it's just, I don't know.
And the people in the chat have no idea. None of these people have mentioned Couch. So these people watching the game, they don't even know what's going on in Kentucky.
Right.
Mention that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to watch the chat outside the football game. And there's no mention like of the Joseph Couch case. It's like these people, and of course that wouldn't be really surprising if they're not local people, because the national news has done so little to cover this case. Right. Yeah. The emergency manager got fired back in June, or sometime in June. They started the firing of him in late May. That's another comedy of errors, because I'm an engineer. I work as an environmental engineer, and I deal a lot with emergency stuff as well, including emergency plans. And even though the EPA and OSHA and everybody tells you what you're supposed to have in those emergency plans, they leave it up to you, to develop it to meet the criteria of what they've set forth for it, but also they tell you who is supposed to be versed and drilled in what to do in every situation that's in that emergency plan. It doesn't seem like anybody. It seems like they may have had an emergency plan and they had an emergency planner, but nobody. It's like they built the binder of the emergency plan and then just put it on a shelf and let it get dust on it, because it's been like the Three Stooges up there trying to handle an emergency situation. So does nobody? I mean, I understand you don't have an emergency planner, but even the sheriff and the mayor and everybody, the higher ups should, and the fire chief and people like that should be versed in the emergency plan. So why is it everybody's, oh, we don't have an emergency planner? Well, okay, that's nice and everything, but the emergency planner is just kind of like a figurehead. There's other people that should know what the emergency plan says and what to do in case of emergency. So I don't. It's just like I don't know. It's like they're living in Mayberry. It's like everybody's got their head in the sand up there and doesn't expect anything to happen. Now something's happened. It's like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? It's like, why doesn't everybody, more people up there, know what to do when an emergency happens? So it's like the whole Laurel County is. I don't know what the rest of Kentucky is like, but Laurel County is a hot mess. Uh-oh. We got a United States Army helicopter going towards Lexington. It's a Black Hawk. Wonder what that's going on with that one.
Well, they've got that hangar there.
Oops.
So it could have come out of the hangar.
No, it's leaving Fort Knox and flying towards, looks like it's fixing to fly towards Lexington. It may be turned towards Louisville, but nonetheless, it's a Black Hawk.
And if you want to switch to Lexington, you know how to find it, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna switch for a little bit over to the Lexington.
You go to browse.
Okay. Whoops. I got it. We'll see what kind of chaos that's happening in Lexington after the football team loses.
Here, baby. Lay down. Mommy moved your blanket. Lay down.
I'm still here. I'm changing the scanner over. That's weird. I don't see it in the list of.
It might not say because it's a big city.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to find the county. That's why I say you need to go to browse, not search.
Okay.
But you might have to look up. It might not be called Lexington County. So sometimes you have to look up what the county's called.
Okay. Okay, it's Fayette County.
And you know, Bubba made a good point about the marijuana people. That it's not even like people that grow marijuana for themselves, but recreational states, even medical marijuana, they buy from these certain places. Michigan, a lot of their stuff, it doesn't matter where they grow. You can't take down a weed farmer in Michigan
Right.
because it's recreational and medical.
Right.
So you may have marijuana farms that are for medical and they ship it to other places in the country, but usually those places have armed security. They have a security company they go through.
All right.
And you could pass that on. But
Yeah, they have multiple agencies that are handling the weed farmers.
scarier with these companies that grow it.
Yeah, now
Because they
yeah.
have armed security guards.
Right.
Whereas these people that grow it for themselves, they could still have weapons, but they're going to take it into their own hands. They have to
Right.
provide their own security. But these companies that ship all across the U.S. for both for medical grade marijuana, they have companies.
Right. The state owned, well, not state owned, the state approved farms versus the individual redneck growing his own marijuana. It can be crazy. Those, like we talked about last night with meth labs and stuff like that I found when I was out working. It's not pretty, and I can only imagine pot farms aren't any prettier. So it's a mess. It's a mess. I put on. It's supposedly this is it. I don't hear anything. It says it's streaming. I don't hear anything.
Well, that's the 712.
They said that was Fayette County.
Area, United States, Kentucky. Fayette. Yeah, that's the only one listed.
Yeah.
Fayette.
That's just usually how flawed it is. So.
I'll just put it back on Laurel, I guess.
I guess. I don't know if they got turned off or what.
They might. It's also a big city.
So it sounds like the next big thing that's going on is everybody's going to Springfield, Ohio after the debate earlier this week with all the stuff, the claims made about the Haitians. Now that's going to be the next big place to be investigated. So that sounds like another big investigation that's going to happen, what the Haitians are doing in Springfield, Ohio.
I think that's ready for a possible burger. Okay. Anderson 50 North US Highway 25. Female caller advising she went to that location, so log cabin to stay there for a while. The fellow went to inside the residence. They heard something up in the loft, so I walked down the loft of the cabin. They fled and they're outside. A white Mercedes on the drive. Takes them inside. Someone's in the residence.
So apparently that call was about a possible burglary. A lady went to a cabin she hasn't been to in a while, and there was somebody who I guess had broke in, was living there or staying there or something to that effect.
She went there to get some rest because I think she was driving or something. I don't know. And she said she could hear somebody in the wall.
And we do have Lexington Police Department has put up a helicopter. And I'm pretty sure they're probably going to be circling in Lexington. I don't know yet, but they one just came up in the Lexington area.
East Route North 25.
This Lexington.
It's northern 25. They're actually past the 490 split. Looks like it's going to be the fifth driveway on the right. These two residences, you'll pass up the first one and go all the way to the very back. If you're familiar with the house that has the white brick fence in the front, it's the next driveway on the right past that.
So that Lexington helicopter looks like it may be leaving Lexington. So we'll watch it and see where it goes.
23 Jersey.
There are two things you could report on real quick that are a little, you know, just out there.
Mm-hmm.
That in a few minutes we may take a little break because we have not eaten yet today, and Mommy's got to eat.
All right.
And you know, I'm sure people understand we've got a baby and stuff.
Right.
We gotta get some bedtime. We'll only be gone for 35 minutes.
All right.
And then tomorrow is going to be a little bit of a later start. We'll still come on if anything pops up tomorrow, but we have Lions football tomorrow.
Right. So we're here in a little bit. We're going to take a break for like 30 minutes so we can eat. We haven't eaten yet, and we have a baby, so we got to get the baby to bed. And so it'll definitely only be like a 30-minute break. But we're not going on break quite yet. But also tomorrow we'll do similar to what we did today. I'll come up and stream in the morning and put stuff up.
Do like a check-in.
And do check-ins. So I'll come in if anything's happening, like I was coming in today whenever they were doing searches with the helicopters, and try to follow them on Google Earth and stuff like that to see where they're going. But and we may be a little bit later start. I'm not sure. The Lions play tomorrow, so we may watch that game as well. So. But right now we're still watching this helicopter from Lexington that is clearly leaving Lexington. I don't think he's going towards London, but he is definitely going out.
I don't know. I think he might go down there.
I don't know. We'll watch and see where he goes.
And that other PHI one, it did land in London. Remember?
Yeah, the PHI medical.
That was like over an hour ago.
Right, the medical helicopter landed in London about an hour ago.
And it never took back off.
So we'll continue to we'll follow this.
Now, if things pick up and the calls are crazy tonight, then we'll might have to move the game to during the day. Because during the day, the scanner's pretty quiet.
Yeah, during the day, if something happens and the scanner keeps going like it is, we may end up moving the game to tomorrow, but we'll see. It may slow down, who knows, but if it does, we'll move the game to the day tomorrow, and we'll come on and do...
And you can explain a little bit about the game. It's like a murder mystery.
Yeah, it's basically, we're going to do it like it's a murder mystery that we're going to... Typically, you do it with other people doing voices and stuff like that, but we're just going to be doing the voices, and you take the clues and you solve the murder mystery. It's the same type of a thing that you would see happen at a murder mystery party, but we're just, instead of giving everybody a role, we're just going to read all the parts and solve the mystery together.
So we get like evidence, we gotta go through pictures,
Yeah,
we'll put those up.
We got evidence and pictures and stuff like that we have to go through and solve the mystery. Tonight may not be pictures, or this one looks like it's more text-based, but there are some that we can do with pictures as well, if this one goes well. But I'll use polls.
And we have a friend that's going to try to draw some stuff.
And we have a friend that's a cartoonist that's going to help draw some stuff. So...
Oh, I know you just described where to go. Might need a little one more time. I'm back at 350 US 25. I think right on this road. I don't know what the road is yet, but
they definitely have
3350.
a tip about something because they're bringing that other helicopter down.
I'm sure that's a private drive that feeds 3346 and then goes back. There's to the right, feeds 33.
Well, he just turned.
It's far in the back, has a circle drive around it, goes around back.
He just turned around and headed back towards Lexington. It looks like, he's doing a circle near the Taylor-made Branch.
Only left the residents, but they said they won't come back as wanting law enforcement here, but it's straight back.
Ideally, what we want to do is try to make this stream fun and we know we have downtimes and stuff where stuff's not going on, so we want to be able to be like a family here in our chat and stuff and do like games and stuff, so we can kill the time while we're in between stuff happening. So that's the big idea of it, and we'll involve I'll use the chat to involve with polls and stuff like that, so we can involve you, and then we're working on getting it so people can call in and stuff like that. So it'll definitely improve, but we're getting there. Okay, I'm not sure why the helicopter he did a circle. Now he's going back the way he was going.
I don't see it on mine.
He is going towards Nicholasville from Lexington. But that's not unusual because sometimes they'll come down and then go over towards.
Well, we also have that Lifestar coming down from Louisville.
All right.
That's like diagonal from Nicholasville. Do you see it?
Yeah.
And it looks like that side, just above like Somerset and Monticello, is where they've been concentrating today.
Yeah. So we'll see where this helicopter from Lexington's going.
Two of them actually. One
Well-
from Louisville.
Well, one the medical helicopter from Louisville, and then the Lexington police helicopter.
10-4,
and
while
then we
outside,
still
I did
have
hear
two
a lot of things inside.
helicopters
I'm making
on the
entry.
border of Tennessee and Kentucky.
10-4 units, you copy?
And we still have two helicopters.
Yeah, 10-4.
Helicopters on the Kentucky-Tennessee border as well.
And they've both been taking off from. They've just been flying around all night.
What the heck is this guy doing? He's just gonna do another loop-de-loop. It looks like. Yeah. It's kind of like they did earlier around London when they were. But it was the Army helicopter that did it.
The Lexington police.
Yeah. It looks like he's about to do another circle.
I'm watching them too.
I don't know exactly what he's doing. See if it says how high he's flying.
Now there is another one that came out from that airport. It's a plane.
Yeah.
It's a small plane,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no
Anyone?
information.
Yeah,
Not even a
I did
number.
that.
It says NA.
Huh.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
That's kind of strange.
Yeah.
It doesn't say private. It's not linked with a city or anything.
That Lexington helicopter's flying fairly low. It's at 2,500 feet.
But that other one, it's weird for them to not even have a number.
Yeah. But the transponder don't tell any type of helicopter.
Go ahead, Ron. Got a suicidal female, 593 White Road, 42-year-old female, by she's slurring, very hostile, out of control,
I would
while she's screaming at the mother, hope she dies, etc. How do you mess her up?
suicidal female with slit a wrist. You can say
I'm going to turn that down for a minute because it's about a suicidal female. So I'll turn it back up in a minute. We'll continue to watch this helicopter. He did another loop-de-loop. Now he's going.
I'm watching this private plane that's not listed.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of strange too.
Yeah. We have this plane that you see on the flight radar now that doesn't have any information about, which is very odd. See how?
And that UT Lifestar came from the Louisville airport.
Yeah, the helicopter, the other helicopter down here. There it is. This one came from Louisville. It's a medical helicopter.
But it looks like it's coming towards London.
But it looks like it may be going towards London, so we'll see where that goes as well.
That other one's going back to Lexington.
Yeah, that's very odd. I
He
don't know.
might do another loop though. And we still gotta see that unmarked plane.
Yeah.
And then when we turn the room over when we eat, I thought we could do Breaking News HQ after.
Very far.
Okay.
Good.
20 on White Road. 5.4 miles up Barber Road, right on the White.
He's turning again.
5 tenths of a mile on the right. See a 10 house. There won't be any vehicles in the driveway. 10-4, 738's coming up the interstate. Just past Skills. What? 49 responding 593 White Road, 593 White Road, staging the area. 5. B98, I've cleared the whole house. Referring them to a priest. B98, okay.
That sounds like they're looking for
Go ahead.
somebody.
Right.
They said
42-year-old female, advice she slit her wrist. The female's extremely hostile.
They already said it. You can just...
Okay.
98, the caller has referendum return.
We hope this poor lady gets some help.
Number is 8729, 8729. Dispatch 2343, route 2345. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they're looking for someone.
What was it? 5933 White Road? That's what they said.
I think that private plane's coming to London.
Yeah. So that's where they're staging at.
Oh, you found their staging?
That says 5933 White Road. That's where I. It's right there. Try and see them. Zoom out. And see what. It's.
Ooh, look at that helicopter in Detroit. They are looking for somebody.
Yeah. I guess they're looking for somebody in Nicholasville with a Mexican police helicopter.
Oh my god, that. I looked at Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
I looked, it must be their police helicopter. Ooh, they've had a busy night.
Yeah, Indianapolis has been popping off the last few nights. There's almost so much stuff that so much stuff you can't keep up. It's almost too much stuff.
still have that UT Lifestar from Louisville.
Yeah, and it's still got that plane's head toward, like I said, it's going to at least fly over London. I don't know if it's going to London, that we don't know what it is. So.
I'm pretty sure it's going to London. Why does Nicholasville sound like it came over the scanner earlier?
Maybe, I don't know.
But they're looping back again.
Right.
Something about Nicholas. Although that's close, so maybe that has something to do with something in Lexington.
Oh yeah, it may be the same county. I don't know.
It's very close.
Right.
But I'm guessing that one plane is going to come to London. And that Lifestar one is getting closer as well. That's going like it's right to Somerset, Monticello, where this other plane just was circling.
Right.
So things are starting to connect.
Yeah.
Even if we're not getting answers.
Right. Things are starting to connect. I mean, who knows? Because we're just making the assumption that he's still in the London area, or they're making the assumption that he's in the London area. Maybe at some point they'll actually figure out that he's somewhere else.
And at this point, deceased, we would, I think, know. They
Right.
would have found him by now.
All right.
Units are out White Road. 319.
So people are arriving at that staging area for whatever's going on.
Blue Steve Mills, currently Cutter Ridge, Holly Combs, Tom's Warren. Yeah, 4192. 4352. Ron Gallon. 1134, you got traffic. 297, 2353. 1145. 2354.
So we're still here. We're just watching the helicopter and that private plane to see where it goes and see what we get, and listening to the scanner.
Units. Third four lines. Who's your caller on this? Tracy.
Okay, so this is interesting.
Yeah, well, there's nobody here by that name. It's calling, that female's not here. 10-4, that is her address on her OL. What's Tracy's last name, Lemon? Stand by, just a second.
I just found another cold case. This college student that was going to school for nursing, she was seen with a young male wearing camouflage and she was never seen again.
That's in the London area or just Kentucky? It's another cold case Allie found of a nursing student that went missing after being seen with a guy in camouflage, and I guess that she just disappeared and they never found her. So I found our guy from last night. He that we watched on X talking about this case. Tonight he's got a pretty interesting little short video about what they're gonna do with this case now that's becoming a cold case. So I'm gonna pull that up. Okay, hold on, let me turn this out.
11-34. Go ahead.
The county, even the national park.
I went back close to the call. All she stated was Tracy. She never stated the last name.
I though hope, following this case again in Kentucky, London, Kentucky with this Joseph case, I hope they just don't let the case go cold, and that's one of my concerns looking at it. Obviously, we don't have all of the information that these guys have in terms of law enforcement down there, and I'm sure they're doing the best they can to their ability, and I'm not trying to slight them or be critical, like I said in one of the videos, but like watching something go into the 7th and 8th day, I think it's justifiable. There is a concern that, that things are not adequately being handled, or just like it's going to stretch on. It's not going to get a resolution, and maybe a body will be found, a part of a body will be found, years or months in the future, but the community will be in fear during that interim time because they cannot get resolution soon enough in terms of the time frame to when this actual shooting happens, which is obviously just a terrible thing for those people psychologically in that area, geographic area around Lexington and London and pretty much anywhere to have to go through. Even me, like, I know how many posts have I made. Is this guy going to come for me next, if we don't get him? So, I think, a $35,000 reward, though, ain't no small amount. If someone can get it together and, put 2 and 2 together in terms of their investigative skills, and that's why I'm a big believer in all resources like that. Like I mentioned, BORTAC, the tactical unit. Like, I think if we have even a sense of where he could potentially be, a whiff of where he could be in terms of that intel, that data, they bring in as many resources with expertise at that type of stuff as they can, and to supplement and to complement what they've got in terms of their resources, state, city, county, even the National Guard, that are more, just their expertise is, again, traffic, road system type stuff. If they have to send someone to the brush, they can send these other teams, and they can have their guys out there, on the roads around that area. So I think it's going to be something that until we get resolution on this, there's going to be a lot of people looking over their shoulders and throwing, putting the lock through in their doors, and justifiably so, because that's why I say if they know where he's at, you know what I mean, or they have, I think they should share it with the public so the public can get the hell out of there, put up additional surveillance cameras, and arm themselves.
So that was just that guy always has some interesting theories, so that's just why I played that about what's happening now. It's a cold case. We did hear on the scanner that they got to the house where the girl was committing suicide, and then they got there and there was nobody there, supposedly nobody there by that name. So that's a interesting turn of events. I don't know exactly what the heck's happening there, but they sent a whole bunch of people out there. It sounds like they got there. That wasn't where she was at, or they gave them the wrong address or something. I don't know.
41. Go ahead. 10-10. Copy, man. You still have. Go ahead, 35.
We still got our Lexington Police Department doing loop-de-loops.
We made contact with who we believe is the female who allegedly cut herself's mother. She's not here, and she left about 15 minutes ago on foot. She did advise that she cut herself, but the cuts, she said, looked like they got cut by like a briar patch or something. She said she's 10-4, she doesn't know where she is, or like the area, but we're 98.
So we still have our Lexington helicopter up here around Nicholasville doing loop-de-loops. They're obviously looking for somebody up there. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. And we got another medical helicopter coming out of Lexington, and then we got the other helicopter from Louisville that's looks like it. I'm not sure where it's going, but it's not going to London for sure. It's not it unless it turns. So I think we're going to take about 30 minutes here and take a break. I'll put the flight radar on the be right back screen, but stay with us. We'll be right back in about 30 minutes, and we'll continue listening to the scanner and see what we get and watch as things go by. And we may, if it slows down enough, we'll play our game. So we'll be right back. Thank you everybody for being here. We love our fans, and we appreciate everybody being here. Just stick with us, and we'll cover more in just a little bit.
Breaking news right now. Turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts. Watch the views amount. Breaking news, In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In a fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In a fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, Turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts. Watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Breaking news right now. Turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts. Watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Breaking news right now. Turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts. Watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, Turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts. Watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Breaking news right now. Turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts. Watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. In the fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Breaking news right now. Turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts. We inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share. News beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts. Watch the views amount. trusted team. Facts we can't ignore, bringing you much more. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Breaking news right now, turn the volume loud. Headlines top the charts, we inform your hearts. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. Stories fresh and bright, bringing truth to light. Every story counts, watch the views amount. Breaking news, HQ, always here for you. Trust the word we share, news beyond compare. In a fast-paced stream, we're your trusted team. Facts we